Hello. We are going over the 324 biblical prophecies that prove Jesus is the Messiah. You are watching this on the Halachgoy channel of YouTube. I'm a Halachgoy, and you can be one too. 324 biblical prophecies that prove Jesus is the Messiah. Prophecy number 60. His humiliation and exaltation. We find this prophecy in the book of Psalms, chapter 8, verses 5 and 6. You made him a little lower than the heavenly beings, and crowned him with glory and honor. You made him to rule over the works of your hands. You put everything under his feet. We find the fulfillment of this prophecy in the book of Luke, chapter 24, verses 50 to 53. When he has led them out of the vicinity of Bethany, he lifted up his hands and blessed them. While he was blessing them, he left them and was taken up to heaven. Then they worshipped him and returned to Jerusalem with great joy, and they stayed continuously at the temple, praising God. It is also fulfilled in the book of Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 27. For he has put everything under his feet. Now, when it says that everything was put under him, it is clear that this does not include God himself, who put everything under Christ. So in the book of Psalms, chapter 8, verses 5 and 6, we find somebody that's being referred to here. You made him a little lower than the heavenly beings, and crowned him with glory and honor. You made him to rule over the works of your hands. You put everything under his feet. Who is this referring to? Now, according to the Christian reading, according to the Hope of Israel Baptist Mission's reading of this verse, and they probably have difficulty understanding any other reading for it, this refers to Jesus. They believe that Jesus was made a little lower than the heavenly beings, that he was crowned with glory and honor, that he was made to rule over the works of God's hands, and everything was put under his feet. And we're told in the writings of Paul that this everything doesn't actually include God himself. It's just everything else, I guess, besides God is put under his feet. For some reason, Paul feels a need to express that. Could this refer to Jesus? Yes, it could refer to Jesus. It could refer to Jesus, but in order to understand more how it could be referred to Jesus, we need to look at a bigger area of Psalms chapter 8. We need to look at the context of this verse to understand how it could refer to a person. I would suggest reading my NIV Bible here, starting with verse 3. King David is looking up to heaven. He is contemplating the vastness of God, the vastness of God's creation, and asking questions concerning who he is, in utter amazement of how God made humanity. When I consider your heavens, the works of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is man that you are mindful of him, the Son of Man that you care for him? You made him a little lower than the heavenly beings, and crowned him with glory and honor. You made him ruler over the works of your hands, and you put everything under his feet, all flocks and herds, and the beasts of the field, the birds of the air, and the fish of the sea, all that swim in the paths of the seas. Who is David speaking of here in the 8th Psalm? What is man that you are mindful of him? The Son of Man that you care for him. King David is thinking about the vastness of God and the vastness of everything that exists in creation. King David is thinking about his own position within that creation. And King David is utterly amazed that God considers him to be significant. King David is asking the question, who am I that you are mindful of me? Who am I, just the son of a man, that you care for me? You made me lower than the heavenly beings and crowned me with glory and honor. You made me ruler over all the works of your hands. You put everything under my feet. King David is speaking this prayer concerning himself. When I say this prayer, I'm also speaking the way King David does. That this prayer refers to myself. Who am I? That God knows who I am. Who am I? That God has placed all of creation under my feet. Who am I? Jesus would also say the same psalm concerning himself. And I'm certain that he did in the nighttime hours when he would get away from the crowds. He would look up to God and say, who am I that you care for me? We can all say this psalm for ourselves. So yes, this psalm, like just about every psalm that is here, refers to Jesus the same way it refers to all of us. The next prophecy we'll be looking at was not to see corruption. Psalm chapter 16, verse 10. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you next time.